Well, then this is how the last few days of Donald Trump's presidency look like.
In reality, we saw our military used to advance a political narrative.
To pardon or not to pardon? That is the question facing Donald Trump every minute.
Let's face it, you have many choices to choose from to get your news and information these days. But our next guest says America's media needs a transformation. Matt Taibbi is a New York Times bestselling author, Rolling Stone columnist, and host of the podcast Useful Idiots. He recently wrote an article called "We Need a New Media System." And earlier today, we spoke about the coverage of President Trump's last 4 years in office. Taibbi told us the changes that he would like to see when it comes to keeping Americans informed. Do you think that the media has covered President Trump fairly?
I would say no. I understand what they're doing, and I understand that there are a lot of people who believe that Trump is a singular, unique threat, and therefore we have to maintain a maximally aggressive posture towards him. And that's a lot of people who are very close friends of mine and colleagues for a long time believe that. But I believe that ultimately, if we print things that aren't true, that it always bounces back on the media, and that it's safer just to call things exactly as we see them, rather than try to lean into narratives whether they fit or not.
Chips away at our responsibility and really the mission that we all set out when we begin this career in journalism. Because I asked you if the press treated President Trump fairly in an effort to balance that, do you think the press has treated Joe Biden fairly? And what is our responsibility in that effort moving forward?
I think Biden has not had a particularly aggressive treatment by the news media yet. It's odd, you know, when he ran for president in 1988, the press basically sank his campaign, and over a plagiarism scandal in 2008, which I also covered, he was essentially bounced out again by the news media. He got a tremendous amount of negative attention. This time, it was odd. From the beginning, a lot of the press treatments of him actually underplayed his chances of winning the nomination, because they didn't believe that he would keep his lead. And his persistent levels of support was actually one of the most underplayed stories early in the Democratic primary race. But I would say that since he became the nominee, he's gotten every favor from most of the people in the news media, and there have been some significant developments. The decision by Facebook and Twitter to squelch the New York Post expose, which, you know, I don't necessarily think was all that important a story, but the story about Hunter Biden's emails being essentially wiped off the internet by a couple of big platforms, yeah, you know, that is an indication of a major institutional effort to protect this politician, which is concerning, and something we have to keep an eye on going forward.
And when we were permitted to write, there was plenty to report.
Walter Cronkite, Matt, was, as you know, a newsman in a much, much different time. But I do think a lot of what he said and how he operated as a journalist is important in today's media landscape. And I read his book often. In fact, I have it in my desk here at work. And when asked what he really thought of President Richard Nixon at that time in our nation's history, Cronkite gave his standard answer about not rendering personal opinions on figures in the news. Are you optimistic that the media landscape right now, when our nation is so polarized, can get back to a place such as that?
That's a great point. And, you know, it's important to point out that Walter Cronkite, in 2 different decades, was voted overwhelmingly the most trusted person in the United States. I think it was both in 1973 and in 1985 that he won those honors. And the reason for that is exactly what you were talking about. He had, as a policy, you know, trying to keep his personal predilections hidden as much as possible from the audience. And that wasn't about being coy. It was about doing the job first. And that's unfortunately not really possible in today's media, where every reporter has a social media presence. They're telling you what they think, not only about politics, but about entertainment shows and whether they have dogs or cats at home. I mean, you know everybody. They're public figures. But the anonymity of journalists once upon a time was an important protective mechanism for the reporter, because it allowed that person to safely report in all directions without outraging a particular audience. But B, it also added credibility to what that person was doing, because audiences couldn't tell whether the reporting was informed by, some political predilection or not. And we've lost that, and that now there's no such thing as a newsreader whose personal opinions are a mystery to us. And I think it is kind of important to try to see if that model still has some staying power, because I think it would.
Thank you for, one, listening, for talking to people who have differing opinions than yours, and for your good questions. I think we can all strive to be useful idiots at this time.
All right. Thank you, Marnie. I appreciate it.
Useful Idiots, by the way, is the name of his podcast, and we should strive not to be useful idiots, in fact.
I knew what you meant.
And you can watch more of our discussion with Matt coming up in our third hour of News Nation, including why he thinks the media needs a total and complete overhaul, and he has some ideas